Screens. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So I will be keeping an eye on the chat. Hector, you have access to the panelist room as well. So if you're able to keep an eye on the chat for me as well, we can make sure that we don't miss any questions.
Right.
For anybody that might have connected. So you guys have been getting these email notifications that we've been sending about today's meeting, and I want to thank you for connecting and making the time to be here with us. I know that Sharina is one of the carrier reps that is connected to the call. I'm not sure if we have anybody else that might have connected. However, so we'll just start with what is going on. We'll have a whole presentation for you guys. So surprisingly, Q4 of 2018 is when Hector and I had the chance to reconnect. And when we had the chance to reconnect back in Q4 of 2018, if we think about it, it's exactly 5 years now. We're starting Q4 of 2023. We did not plan it to be this way. It's just organically happening this way. And I think more than organically, we know who's putting things together. And you'll hear me talk about God in this presentation because this is exactly what is happening internally within Leto. We are comfortable and confident in what is happening. So the fact that we're exactly 5 years since Hector and I noticed that we could extend a business model to work with other partner agents like most of you guys in this call right now. I see a lot of agents that partner up with us from the beginning and you believed on what we were doing and you trusted us. Elizabeth, you're on the call. Mary and Gulo, you're on the call. So those agents that, what was that, Hector?
Oh, no, I was going over the names, Robert, Alfredo Solis, and a few others that started with us since the beginning.
Since the beginning. So it's good for us to see that 5 years afterwards, obviously, we held up to what we said we were going to do, which was make sure that you guys are getting paid. First and foremost, you guys didn't know me directly. You might have known Hector back in 2018, but you trusted the fact that we wanted to bring up a model that was going to help everybody out in Texas. And along the way, we have built a better structure to build a business out of it. That now it's over 70 partner agents working together with the organization with Leto Financial. So it really is exciting for me to say that this is happening today, 5 years since Hector and I took the leap and brought this organization to all of you guys out there. And we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot together. COVID-19, when we were starting, when the pandemic was starting, I remember talking to most of you guys out there and trying to understand how are we going to move forward through the pandemic. Obviously, right now we're going through a whole insurance industry correction plan, and everybody says great companies are built through tough times. And I think it's fair for us to say that here at Leto, we had our fair share of tough situations as an early company that got incorporated in 2016. We switched our model in Q4 of 2018. So we know that we haven't had an easy path. But at the same time, I can tell you that none of this would have happened if we didn't put God first. Hector and I, we do this all the time. And every time we're making a decision is, what are we supposed to be doing as a group to make sure that we provide the value for all of you guys out there, especially as we continue to grow. We got to make sure that there's a better structure internally. We have the blessing to work with other partners now. Annabelle Martinez has been crucial to everything that we're doing internally. So needless to say, we have continued to grow. We grew during the pandemic, and right now during this market correction, we are still growing, surprisingly. But it's not necessarily a surprise because Hector always says this, if it's in God's plan, it's definitely what is supposed to happen. And that's what helped me a lot to be able to work as a CEO for the company to make sure that we are making the right decisions. And obviously we're still learning and we still got to make adjustments every time that we continue to move forward. So as we continue to grow, the company is taking on more necessities. The business is now requiring more from us to make sure that we are operating and that we are continuing to operate on a business model that happens to be profitable, which is very important for our partner carriers. And with this being said, obviously the workload gets heavier and gets more intense internally here at the corporate office. And this is why I want to take advantage to officially announce that Mr. Ibarra is taking on the role of Vice President of Operations with Leto Financial and Insurance Services, California and Texas operations. And some of you may or may not know, we do have two corporations. We have the California Corporation book, And we have a Texas corporation entity as well, in which Hector and I are already partners in the Texas corporation entity. But now he's officially going to be helping taking care of the vice president role, which it's a timing, once again, timing. And this is not a time of easy money for none of us in this industry. And a lot of these decisions that we collectively, and we were laughing earlier because he says, you're throwing me under the bus because we got to make corrections to our business model. But these are corrections that honestly, it's hard for us to make, but we're doing these corrections with the intention of understanding where have we been in the past 5 years. 5 years have passed by, and we have made premiums. We have reading a book of business, and this is the basic breakdown that what's happening in the past 5 years. When you start to look into the grand total of book of business, collectively, we have reading $5.8 million book of business, which this really took place from Q4 of 2018 until today. So 5 years later, it's not easy to write $5 million, but something that we do got to pay attention to this graph. And the reason why we're having this conversation today is the mix of the book of business that we have built internally as a group. Obviously, when we needed the partner carriers to give us access to be able to write in the States, it came in at a perfect timing because a lot of us, I'll start with Texas because this is how this whole model started. Partner carriers allow us the opportunity to write in the state, and obviously it helped us to build the cash flow at a time that we needed it the most. Needless to say, the book of business looks heavy inclining to a homeowner's book of business, which, by the way, in this graph under homeowners, 75%, it breaks down into renters policies as well. There's some flood policies. I was asking Julian to give me a better breakdown of the homeowner's book of business, so he wasn't able to give me this graph on time. But 75% is not just homeowners. There's renters in there. There's also flood policies. However, still heavily inclined on a homeowner's policy book of business, which if we start to think about the fact of where we're standing as far as insurance, this is not where our partner carriers wants to see. Yes, the partner carriers allowed us to write the premium when they didn't put a stop into their system. That's not what happened, and this is where we are now. And we see a lot of agents, a lot of carriers, I should say, making adjustments internally as to what they're doing to their operations. Therefore, we cannot write new business in California. Now, Texas, you're not able to write new business. So they have made the adjustments that they think is going to help them move forward. But now it's trickling down to our partner agency level that we need to start to make some adjustments, okay? I will open it up to questions. If you have questions as I'm moving forward, I see a couple Q&As in here. Richard Last, congratulations, Mr. Ibarra. Are we on mute? Yes, David, everybody's pretty much on mute. So when we take a time and we start to understand what type of book of business is being placed, we know that we have paid commissions too. Obviously, the premium that we were showing for, it accounts for commissions being paid out to you guys, our partner agents. And in this case, the way I like to think about it is not commissions, it's we are creating an economy altogether. When you start to think about an economy, is we're building in premiums together and we're putting money out there in the forms of commissions. Since we started this in 2018, when we started to track it with Julian, first in 2020, we paid $235,000 in commissions. Then on 2021, we paid $303,000. In 2022, we paid $462,000. And in 2023, year to date, we've already paid over $420,000. However, we're not done with the year yet. So, Julian, we are projecting to pay a total of $561,000 in paid commissions this year. All collectively adds up to $1.9 million since we switched the model. So that's where I take the pride and what makes me really happy to see what we have done as a group is it's putting the money out there into your pockets. And I remember having a conversation with my dad when he still be alive. I would walk with him and I would tell him, you know what, Dad, I want to be in the position that we are the ones cutting the checks for other people. Somebody has the ability to be able to cash this check to go out there and make their payments. And I remember having this conversation with my dad before he was diagnosed with cancer. And it's awesome to see the fact that we're doing those things, but we're not doing it alone. And we're not doing it with you. It's most importantly, we gotta once again bring it back is God is guiding the direction of this company to be able to put this together for all of us together. So what do we have to say? Yes, we are making money, and obviously that's slowing down a lot. And now we came to a position that we need to do work together as an organization. Just when we all reap the benefits to make sure that we were building cash flow when we needed it the most, now we have to start to make changes as to how we operate. And one of the things that we've done differently is to be able to work with agents and give them direct binding authority. And one of the things that I know, and I've done this myself quite a bit, is reinvent myself. I remember another story when I was living back in Mexico. We went to go see one of the doctors, and I heard the doctor tell my mom, "Your son's not going to live past the age of 12." I'm 35 now, so we're still here. We got plenty of time. But something that I've learned throughout this time is to reinvent myself. And if we find ourselves afraid to evolve and change, then I could tell you back in 2019 or 2020 when COVID started, we had to reinvent ourselves. Right now, once again, we're in a position that we have to reinvent ourselves. But the blessing that we have as an organization is we're small enough to be able to pivot and make these changes fairly quickly. So the main reason why we need to change the model is based on our current book of business and the mix that we are working with. And this is also going to put us in a position for our partner carriers to understand, hey, listen, if we lose appointments, we're going to be in big trouble. And this is not the position that we want to be in. We don't want to lose any of our carrier partnership appointments that we have. So this is also telling them, look, we understand how our book of business looks and we got to make changes, but you also have to work with us. We got to understand that if obviously they didn't know this was what's going to happen, but if they would have known that a book of business the way it is right now, they would have probably shut down themselves and they wouldn't give us access to write certain policies. But right now we got to make adjustments. And one of the things that primarily we're going to start to do as Leto Financial, we are no longer going to be given immediate binding authority to our partner agents, which is what categorizes in the industry, what Hector and I pride ourselves as to doing in this industry. Our model is we'll give you binding authority. Well, that obviously we have to change the direction that the ship is going, and that starts pretty much immediately for new partner agents. As part of the reconstructions, that you can see the decisions that we've made, and that I say we, yes, Hector and I talk together. Hector, welcome to being a vice president. Now we gotta let everybody know the changes that we gotta make. But once again, great companies are built during tough times, and despite of these changes, personally, I feel confident of what we're doing, and I feel and I know that we're going to be in a better position in the next 5 years to come. So restructuring the personal and commercial lines division, this is primarily what is going to be effective. We are no longer going to be giving direct access to the carrier's portal. However, most of our partner carriers allow us to appoint you as a partner producer. Keep in mind, most of you in this call already have access to the carrier's database and to their system. A lot of you have to understand that we need you to engage. We need your engagement as a partner agent. We need you to connect to these training sessions because the carriers are paying attention. Whenever you are not connecting to the Hartford meeting, which, by the way, full disclosure, there's a meeting already scheduled for tomorrow with Sharina, with the Hartford. And when we notice that the engagement is not there, then obviously it's a red flag. Because if we start to, if we didn't do a breakdown of the commercial book of business this time, but the commercial book of business is already starting to look heavily inclined as a monoline book of business as well, which we need to change immediately. We have data that goes back since 2020 or 2018 for the personalized book of business. We don't have that data yet with commercials since we are barely starting to write more commercial. This is not the same conversation that we want to have 3 years from now with you guys when it comes to the commercial book of business. And that is why we need you to engage in the training sessions with Sharina, with Travelers Insurance. When we arrange these meetings to come to you and you have the ability to connect directly with the reps, if you're not taking advantage of them, we have to make an adjustment internally before we start to lose appointments. And I've said this before, we value everybody's partnership within the group. But I think we can all agree that the most important relationship right here for all of us, not just for Leto, is the partner carriers appointments. The minute we start to lose access to them, then we start to lose a livelihood. And this is why we're making these adjustments. So bringing it back to the commercial book of business, you will notice that the training sessions are going to get more intense, especially on the behalf with Hector. Hector himself has already training session scheduled for the 10th, which in this case, we're going to try to make sure that we help you understand how to breach into a commercial book of business, which a lot of the agents may not be too familiar with the surplus lines world. Some of you may be, but we are taking a more time to work with you as an agency. I'm going to go into that next. So what's going to happen for those carriers that are going to allow us to appoint you as a producer? You will still be appointed as a producer. You will still be able to complete your producer appointment packet. So now when we issue a policy for you internally, we'll be able to appoint you as a producer of record. So you kind of started by this point, I would assume, understand the direction that we're going to, which is the direction of other groups out there doing the same thing that we are doing, which we are no longer going to be able to give you direct binding authority, but we will keep track of your book of business. Now, some carriers ask you to request from them direct access to the carrier once you reach certain threshold. With us, the minute we place together $100,000 worth of business with selected partner carriers, meaning we want to make sure that we send them the mix of business that they want. At some point, hopefully maybe next year, they'll start to reopen up for personal lines. When personal lines reopens up, we're no longer going to allow you to write directly with Travelers or for you to write directly with Nationwide or for the major carriers that we work with. You will have to submit a quote request. But what we're going to be doing now is we got to make sure that these carriers get the type of mix that they want, which is going to be a package business, home and auto. And if we look back at the illustration, what I was showing you earlier, let me bring it back. That's not how we look like today. We look, unfortunately, I would say we look more like a monoline book of business for homeowners policies, and that's the intention of making these adjustments. Is we gotta fix it, and for us to fix it, we gotta stop the business coming in as a monoline book of business. Even though the companies are not really allowing you to write it right now, when they do allow it, we cannot accept this type of business anymore, because one more time I'll say we do not want to lose these appointments, and the same approach goes for commercial lines. You hear Sharina telling everybody, you guys got to write workers' comp. And you hear it from Travelers, you got to write workers' comp. You have companies like the Hartford and Travelers that are actually on the commercial side. They're helping us out as a group. They're giving us incentives, which is a complete different story of what's happening in personal lines. However, these incentives are only going to go so far if we are not doing what they are asking us to do. They're not just telling us they want to get business because they want to plump up their book of business. They know what type of mix they want, because we got to build a better book of business for the next 3 to 5 years. And 5 years, just like I started the meeting and I said earlier, 5 years gone by already since Q4 of 2018. So what is the whole plan of this? The whole point of this approach is to ensure that the business place with our partner carriers will align with their mix, the desired mix that they are looking for. So what is this going to look like? Connecting for the training, for us to give access, to grant you access to new divisions, and we've been doing this already. You will have to connect to certain training sessions. Transportation, we're not going to be accepting quotes for the transportation division if you're not connecting to the training sessions with Rosa. We're not going to be accepting transportation quotes, or I'm sorry, commercial quotes, if you're not connecting to the training sessions that Hector is going to be hosting as of next the week of the 10th. Obviously, how are you going to be submitting this business to us? All of you, when you join Leto Financial, we set you up with a management system, or your agency hub, which is powered by Record Guardian. At the bottom of your Record Guardian, which I don't have in the presentation, you see you can submit the quote request forms. The same situation is going to happen for commercial lines. We have a team completing pretty much a core forms 125, right, Hector? 125, 126, and 127 is what we're going to be implementing as far as the new forms coming up into the system, correct? Right. Go ahead, Hector.
140. Tony, let me just add something to what you were saying about the product mix that, and the new requirements that we're putting into place. I mean, we have one of our carriers with us today, and one of the things that one of the reasons why we're doing this is not because we want to limit the amount of business that we all write, but it's our turn to help our partner carriers mitigate the risk that they've been running some high risk, especially lately with the increases in construction costs, automobiles, inflation in general. And then all these storms that happen in Florida, California. And one thing that we have to understand is that whatever happens in California affects Texas and Florida, right? So now it's our turn to turn the page, and now it's our turn to help our partner carriers mitigate this risk that they're exposing themselves to. So this is not a matter of, we don't want you to sell anything, we don't want you to keep doing what you were doing. Now it's a two-way street. So they were nice enough to give us the appointment. We benefited from them. We sold a lot of business, especially on the personal lines arena for the first 4 or 5 years. Now it's our time to pay that back to our partner carriers. And this is a way that we're going to be able to mitigate the risk and hopefully come up with a better product mix. Because You know, Sharina, I hate to put you on the spot, but obviously when we sell workers' comp and we include that to our BOP policies, that mitigates the risk for the Hartford. And that's a better book of business. It's less risky. And that's why we're making these changes. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So Hector and Tony, both of you are spot on. So like Hector said, keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing. We're still open for business here at the Hartford. We are just asking for your partnership to improve the book mix, which just means cross selling the work comp line when you're writing the BOP, right? Absolutely. Still bring us your BOPs, but also bring us the work comp. That's going to help you improve the book mix, but also the loss ratio. And these changes, you know, as Tony and Hector mentioned, like these are the changes that need to be made to maintain your appointments, not just with the Hartford, but with your other carriers. I see all this and these restructure changes as good news because good news for you all. This is going to open new doors and new opportunities for the Leto team to gain access to other carrier appointments that you don't currently have, right? They're going to see these changes that you implemented. They're going to see the improvement in your commercial book, your personal lines book, and they're going to want dibs on having their appointment within your agency, right? So not good news for me because, hey, yeah, that means I may lose that business, right? But it's also good news for you all because it's going to give you access to other opportunities that you currently do not have right now.
And to add to that, Sharina, carriers are asking this from all other aggregators and other companies. It's not just Leto that is being
Absolutely.
right. Okay.
Yes, we are. So we when I come to you and say, hey, book mix, bring us more work comp. I'm saying this to every single agency in my territory, not just your team, right? The other thing is loss ratio. We are speaking to our agents about loss ratio because, like Hector mentioned, Tony mentioned earlier, carriers are seeing the book hit, right? So even though California or Texas or Florida may be the contributor to the loss ratio, it impacts everyone. So your agency is not the only agency I'm having this discussion with. It's just your agency could use some improvement and there's room for opportunity there.
Thank you for sharing that, Sharina. I appreciate it. Hector, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm done. That's it. Go ahead.
So, well, obviously, you might feel like, Jesus, they're going to start to cut my access. But we've learned a lot of things throughout these past 5 years. And this is something that I feel really excited to share. One of the things that we've learned that I've learned personally working with other agents is building a business plan. There's a lot of agencies that I've worked with that they haven't put the time in to build a business plan. And this is something that all of us need to have. I just made a video for those of you that pay attention to the content that we create. I still have the original business plan that we put together back in 2016 when we established Leto Financial. And for us, this is an ongoing process that you haven't seen it, but we get together at the corporate level once a year in which we start to put together what is the business plan for the year within all the 6 divisions. And this is something that I need all of you to pay attention to, that you will need to set up a business plan. It's pretty much you're reinventing the structure of your agency because you're also going to be hurting from the personalized perspective. And if you don't put together a business plan as to how to move forward and how to, once again, how are you going to reinvent yourself? This is definitely something that you're going to be struggling with. So some of the things that I will recommend you to do, and this is something you have a whole team available to your disposition. If you want to set a time together with myself, which I'm not sure if Bahara is on the call, Bahara Cortez, who I had the chance to have the first business meeting session yesterday at her office. We're doing business planning meetings. I'm doing business planning meeting with them. Cesar, who's on the call, and also Maida. We have a business planning session already scheduled for this Thursday, in which they're coming to the office. But what should you look for as an idea for your own book of business? And the very first thing you need to understand is you gotta know your book of business. You gotta know the mix of your book of business. Similar to the graphs that I was showing you right now, go through an internal breakdown of your book. What type of BOP policies do you have in your book of business? And when you're writing this list, put it into an Excel and make sure that you get this data, get the insured name, because you want to have it on a different direction, on a different platform, because now you're going to want to create different marketing strategies and distribution strategies. So I'm going to go into that as well. What is the mix of business of your commercial book of business? Are you dealing with a lot of general liability? What is the type of industry or the business that you're insuring internally? Are there plumbing? Are there construction? you really need to know the data that you're working with. Are you dealing with a lot of workers' compensation? So this is something that we're going to start to provide to you guys, our partner agents, which will be a welcome letter, but it's going to give you some basic information as to what you should look for internally to start to build different marketing and distribution strategies. Other lines of business, insurance names, or one thing that you do want to find out is the annual revenue for your book of business, because now you want to start to think about if you have a commercial book of business, okay, and if this book of business happens to be workers' compensation, well, after that, you know you already have gross revenue, you already have payroll. What's going to happen when you have this book of business identified, and this is the same thing for personal lines, what are you going to do with this data? And this is what I'm doing internally with some business owners, with you, the agency owners, and this is available to you out there. You just gotta trust the fact that we know a couple of things as to how to market your own book of business. Once we have identified the book of business, you're going to be able to create different marketing strategies. A
So,
book of business. Go ahead, Hector.
so for those of you out there, let us know. We can customize the marketing strategy for your agency. It just takes a couple of meetings with Tony and myself, and we can go over your book. We can help you, decipher what it is that you're selling, and then we could take it from there. There's a question by Richard Lutz. I think Sharina can be best at answering this question about the use of a payroll company for workers' comp. Sharina, can you read the question there on the chat?
So I don't see the chat. I'm sorry. Can you read the
Okay.
question to
It
me?
says, most of my business owners use payroll company for workers' comp. They track their numbers monthly and they send automated reports. How do we compete with these payroll companies when it comes to workers' comp?
So we offer payroll billing. So no matter the state that you're on, that you're in, your client is in, here at the Hartford, we do offer payroll billing for workers' comp. We call it pay as you go, your way pay, whatever fancy language you want to use, right? But essentially, it's the same thing, payroll billing, right? So we can set them up whatever their payroll partners are, or they have the ability to do what we call self-pay reporting. So anytime they have payroll, they just enter that each month. Into the system, and then that is what their actual payrolls will be generated, our premium will be generated on. And I can speak to that tomorrow in our meeting.
All right.
But yes, you offer the same thing. So it's a fair playing field when it comes to the payroll partners like ADP, right? We can offer the same thing that ADP offers to the client.
Perfect. All right.
Thank
you, Tony. Just had to make a parenthesis.
No, thank you for that, Hector. So what am I trying to say right now with these two slides? We have a business plan. We have a structure to help you internally within your own agency. Whether you want to adopt it, it's up to you. But at least having a business strategy or having a business plan versus not having anything at all, it definitely beats a situation that some of you may or may not be in. Okay, I'm not saying everybody's in the same situation, but if you're an agent now that hasn't had the time to put a business plan together, the intention of me creating this exercise is to provide you with a vision. I like to call this my evade mentality. I identify, visualize, structure, execute, and becoming intentional is what I call the evade. So what I'm trying to do right now is show you a vision as to what you can do within your own book of business. So what is that vision starting to look like? Identifying your own book of business. Identify what are you sitting on? What potential opportunities? It's not cross-selling, it's cross-marketing. Cross-selling, you might think about doing home and auto. But when you're doing cross-marketing, you want to market your commercial book of business into a group health division. You want to market that commercial book of business into financial services. And this is something that we want to provide you with a structure and a blueprint. But not only that, we want to provide you with our time. I want to provide you with the resources that we already have. So once you go through your exercise of building down your book of business, the second meeting, if you want me to get involved, then let's get together. Let's identify how can we cross-market your existing book of business. What are we going to cross-market it? Into what divisions are we going to cross-market it? But now, once we've identified, how are we going to do this? So how are you going to use the data? And something that has helped us a lot here at Leto Financial is video marketing. A lot of agents may or may not feel comfortable with creating video marketing. However, imagine if you already identified that you maybe have a book of business that is comprised of, it's mixed of workers' compensation. You already have payroll. You already have employees. This should be an easy conversation for you with the business owner to help them understand group health insurance. Are you already offering group health insurance to your team? Do you already offer them benefits? You know what, Richard, I don't offer them anything. Or Rosa, I don't offer them anything. And that is a perfect example to use once you start to cross market your book of business. You might want to do video webinars with the same owners that you have in your book of business. Why would, if you put together five business owners that they want to learn more about the group health division that you can help them with through Leto Financial, now you can have access to Anthony Lopez. But you put together a webinar with the business owners, start to show them with solutions. You should be able to present them with a semi plan because you have most of the data. Once again, what data do you have? What are you sitting on? And this is the whole exercise that I'm trying to bring in, or the attention that I'm trying to bring into you right now, for you to understand how you can leverage what we have been doing ourselves. Once you have the book of business that you want to target to cross market, once you identify the marketing campaign that you're going to want to create, I suggest you to do video marketing campaigns. The next thing we got to identify is the distribution of these marketing campaigns. What do I mean by distribution? Are we going to be doing email campaigns? Most of you, all of you should be have been getting our email campaigns from Leto Financial. Email campaigns, when you put it together, people pay more attention to that. We're also going to be creating distribution strategies through text messages, social media. You probably hear this a lot, but once you really start to work on social media, you start to understand the power of it. But this does come with time, and people start to understand what you are doing as an insurance agent or as an insurance professional. So one thing is the existing book of business, also is accessing to new book of business that should be honestly guided towards commercial lines, financial services, and group health insurance. One thing that you want to understand, you're going to have to create a YouTube channel. Why are you going to want to create a YouTube channel? Well, once you start to create all these video campaigns, YouTube channel is going to be your library. It's going to be the hub that you're going to put all your videos there. And now you're going to start to send the email campaigns. Once you send the email campaign, your video has to be hosted somewhere in a platform, in this case, YouTube. Once you create the email, you're just going to embed the email with the video, and people will be able to see it. Once again, we have been doing this for the past 2.5 years. I feel confident to tell you I know what we're doing. So this is why we want to make this available to you. Is I'm not here just to tell you, hey, sorry, you're losing access to certain markets. We have a solution, but only those agents that are willing to reinvent themselves are going to be the agents that are going to be able to thrive and build a better book of business. And when I talk to a lot of the agents about what is happening with this industry, a lot of people feel frustrated and they feel concerned, they feel worried. When I tell you that I feel at ease of what is happening, is because we do have a plan, but we now have the opportunity to build a book of business with a commercial with a commercial book of business, primarily being complied by a commercial book of business. This is a different type of clientele that you're going to be able to work with. What do I mean when I say leveraging Leto Financial and Insurance Services? When we had the first meeting, I told you, you now have access to 6 divisions. You have 6 division leaders. And I hope the video works, but this is a perfect example of Rosa Cuen on what we did with this group. We enrolled them we set up a simple IRA plan for the company GT. Anthony got them enrolled with with group health insurance and ancillary benefits. Rosa is also managing the commercial book of business, and we also did a buy and sell agreement for the company. So these are things that I suggest you to look into. Can you guys see the video? Is it playing?
Yes.
So you see Anthony Lopez right there. David Zuniga. Let me bring it back to video marketing. This is what I mean. We've been doing these types of videos. We have a whole team. Some of you may or may not know, we actually have a team that works out of Tijuana, Mexico. That are the ones that are creating all of the designs for the videos. So once you start to leverage video, and you see the platform once again is YouTube, where we have all these videos as our library, it's right there. But why am I bringing this video up again? Maybe I haven't made it clear as to how to leverage your team, your Leto Financial, how to really leverage everything that we've been doing. So let me kind of give you a recap of what this organization looks like. You can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
So what do you have access to your Leto Financial and Insurance Services organization and this partnership that we have? Obviously, most of you already know Annabelle. She's your back office. She's the one that is helping you, making sure that you have access to all your markets. Whenever you have issues coming up with Record Guardian, she's your right-hand woman, and this is somebody who you don't want to piss off. Please keep it happy. Be good with her because she's here to help you. And trust me, it doesn't take a lot to get her angry. I tend to do that quite a bit to piss her off, but she's honestly being a blessing in our organization because she understood how the business operates here within Leto Financial. So now it makes it so much easier for me on my end when it comes about if you put yourself in my shoes, dealing with sixth division, dealing with multiple partner carriers, dealing with multiple partner leaders, being able to work with all of you guys. There's a lot that is going on. And one thing that all of you should try to implement at some point in your business is as you start to grow, delegate. Find the team that is going to help you build a business and trying to get yourself out of the situation of constantly running payroll, constantly done in CSR, because then you're not building a business, you're building yourself a job. And this is the blessing that God is allow us to work with, is putting the right persons to be able to help us grow the organization. Yeah, Wendy Gutierrez, who also is my wife, she is working with the Medicare division, which we're going to be probably releasing Medicare, not this year, probably in about 2 years. We're starting to develop the structure for the Medicare space. Now, let's talk about your division leaders. You have Rosa Gwen. A lot of you have already been connecting to the transportation meetings, but I can tell you, you are not taking advantage of this division. Transportation, if you start to understand how you can leverage cross marketing, okay? A transportation policy is going to be an average of $40,000 to $70,000 that you're going to be able to collect the premium on. A transportation policy, you will be able to add a broker fee. In a transportation policy, you will be able to charge or set up a premium finance agreement. All these things that I'm telling you, it's additional cash flow that you can generate for your office. But the most important piece, if we focus in transportation, she has over 8 years of experience. And if you're not trying to bridge into transportation right now, you are taking too long. But once again, it can be a little bit overwhelming as to how are you going to transition into a new division when you're still trying to get together and put your agency in place. Going back to the last slides, we have a structure to help you put that together. But once you start to leverage the division for transportation, this will bring premium into your agency. But also cross marketing into life insurance for transportation drivers. Rosa, she's in the last 2 months, 3 months, she wrote over $17,000 worth of issue target premium of life insurance policies. Truck drivers typically don't have a life insurance policy and they have high risk. So now she's presenting them with a solution of a 10, a 20, and a 30-year term. But this is how you leverage our group. Don't just go out there and call them. Get that data once again. Understand what the date of birth is, because you should already have that, what the name is. Just set up a date to just do quoting on life insurance. And if you have a license for life insurance and you're with other markets, you should be doing this internally. Just write a day for quoting and send this information to your truck drivers. And this is what she does. She lets them, hey, Carlos, I have 2 quotes for you or 3 proposals for life insurance, which you should honestly consider being a truck driver, taking advantage of living benefits. Now it becomes an easy sell for them, especially when she's using video. We have the strategies. You have access to the divisions. Maybe you are not the one writing the policy, but if we keep it in the financial services, you have both of us. You have David Zuniga and you have myself. Maybe you're just doing a warm introduction with a lead to make sure that they want to get a life insurance policy. Well, first of all, if you're licensed, let's get you appointed with the markets, National Life Group, Ohio National. Well, it's now Augustar, Ohio National changed the name. The point that I'm trying to make here, there are strategies within your own book of business that you're probably not taking the time to understand how to cross market. And this is where you can leverage us. If you don't have the time to write the business, introduce us as your agency division manager. Let us write the business. That does come at a cost of commission. If you just hands off, now we have 2 programs that we're working with in Leto, hands on and hands off. But what I want you to understand, we have a plan. And only those that are willing to come on board, we call it a program. This is a program. This is not just a wholesaler market that you're coming in, you give us the quote and you wait for us. No, we want you to engage because we want you to get access back to these carriers. We want you to gain the ability to write directly with them. So bringing it back to your division leaders, obviously Hector not only is now he's a vice president, but he's also your commercial lines division manager and personal lines. Whenever you have questions for commercial insurance, you need to reach out to them. And if it's a little bit overwhelming because you don't know who's running what, just go into our website. Our website will tell you who does what. and you have everybody's contact information. Anthony Lopez, Group Health Insurance. We just saw that video a couple minutes ago. Group Health Insurance, ancillary benefits, qualifying retirement plan for the team, buy and sell agreement for the owners, and also the commercial insurance. This is what we are doing for all the business owners that are connecting into what we're doing. And you also have Andre DeGasson, who runs the professional liability division, errors and omission. I don't see the agent on the line, but just about a week ago, they were quoting an $18,000 prop E&O policy for a company that manages a lot of data for a banking institution. Once you understand E&O, that market alone, it's a niche that you can try to tap into. But once again, get familiar with how we operate and what are the changes that we are also doing not to be able to help you. We're not just signing up agents and we are disappearing. I want to make sure that I get involved with you and the entire team to help you build a better book of business. Reasons why, I mean, we just talked about it. Why are we making these changes? I don't see any questions. Hold on. Sharina, we have the ability to connect to the payroll. Okay, that's answering the question. If anybody has any questions or concerns at this point, go ahead and unmute yourself before I keep on going into the presentation.
Can they unmute themselves or you have to do it?
They should, let me know. Can somebody let me know if you can unmute yourself? Can somebody unmute themselves? I see a hands up. I think it was Mayra Becerril. You can type on the chat if you cannot unmute yourself.
I'm able to unmute myself.
Awesome, perfect. If you're able to unmute yourself at this point of the presentation, before I keep on going, I'm almost done. There's 21 slides. We're on slide number 18. Okay. Questions, concerns, or comments?
Tony, can you hear me?
Of course, yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, awesome presentation. So on the life insurance part, what company did we say we're using? Yeah.
So we have National Life Group, which accepts a market with no IT numbers, non-residents. We have Fidelity and Guarantee. They have the same appetite. We have Transamerica. We have AIG. We have Mutual of Omaha. We are an IMO on that division, so we have plenty of markets.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yes,
I thought it was just one. No, several then. Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions.
And how do we sorry.
Go ahead.
How do we get the numbers for each individual division, Tony?
So when you go in the bottom of your agency hub, a Record Guardian, you see the forms, you see their phone numbers right there. However, when you first joined, one of the very first emails that we send out is all your division leader contact information. So obviously what I'll do after this email, we'll make sure to send out we'll send that email out again so that everybody can have it. But you already have it on that initial welcome email as well.
Okay. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Mayra. Anybody else? This is the time that we are a group, and obviously we're a partnership, and I want to hear from you as well. As far as especially the old timers, the old schools from Leto Financial, the going back into 2018, Mario Suna, Mario Angulo, when we started everything. It is obviously something that impacts all of us. And I'm going to go at the end of the presentation, the existing agents that already have a book of business. We're going to talk about that as well. But just know that we will be setting up individual meetings with all of your partner agents, especially with the ones that have a heavy book of business. We're going to get together with Hector, myself, and we're going to set up a different strategy to make sure that you continue to operate the way you've been operating, but also we have to clean the book of business. And this is something that Hector has been sending out. It's tough for me to ask you to clean the book of business when carriers are not accepting new business. You know, this is something that I love working with Hector, and why he's the vice president. He always brings the perspective of the retail agency. When I myself, I mostly focus on the operations, but it's tough to rewrite a book of business when nobody's accepting it. So we also know what the limitations are, but for that, we'll work on it on a more direct basis, one by one, based on your book of business, especially with Travelers, because Travelers is one of our biggest partners in Texas as well. But if nobody has questions or if you want to add anything, I'll continue to move forward. Obviously, the reason. Go ahead, Hector.
No, Robert had a question about who do we call life with. I think this just went over the carriers.
So Robert, if you are appointed directly with the carriers, if you're not already appointed to a group, first thing that we want to do is appoint you with them. If you don't have access to them, at the bottom of your agency hub, you have two links. When you think about the financial division, think about it into two subdivisions. You have your traditional division and you have your advanced financial planning division. Traditional is going to be more of a customer that wants to get a term policy, an ROP, return of premium, or an IUL. An advanced planning division is when we're starting to work with the business owners to implement simple IRAs, non-qualified plan strategies, or buy and sell agreements. So first of all, we got to identify what type of customer are we dealing with. If you are not licensed, I'm listening.
Oh, can you mute it?
Does somebody have a question? No? Okay.
No.
Perfect. And I see Rosa Cuen has her hand up. Give me a minute, Rosa. I'll get to you after this comment. So if you want to submit a quote request, at the bottom of your agency have submit a life insurance policy or an advanced planning. Once you submit it, you don't just walk away. We need you to schedule a video call with the owner or the proposed insured, whoever the prospect is. Why do we need you to do this? To have a better chance to be able to move forward with the case. If you just send it in and if we call them from the office, it's just a cold call. When you schedule a video call with the customer, they know you are the one managing the client. And this is exactly what Rosa did with GT. So it depends on which direction you're trying to go with, whether you're going to be active or non-active for the divisions. This is the best time to restructure everything going into 2024 to make sure that we have a good plan of action. The business plan is going to be active as of 2024, to be honest. I hope that answers your question. Rosa, you had your hand up. If you're in the call, please unmute yourself. I don't know if Rosa's here. Oh, she's here. Okay, the hand is down. Nobody else has any questions, concerns? Okay, moving forward. Go ahead, Hector.
No, go ahead.
Obviously, the reasons why we're doing this, maintain a good carrier appointment partnership with them, have a better book of business, have a better mix of book of business internally. And this is something when it comes to the personal lines division, we had the blessing, and some of you had the chance to see those checks of profit sharing. For 3 years in a row, we were able to earn profit sharing. Obviously, not these past 2 years. We need to get back into a profit sharing standard. Which, to be honest, I'm trying to aim for 2025 to become profitable. So this, the remaining of this year, and then obviously a lot of it is going to be depending on what's going to happen with losses, what's going to happen with cat losses, which we're getting to the end of the year. We're going to see how many are going to come in. Hopefully some markets begin to accept new business. But at least from our end, what we can do is, hey, when they reopen up, we are gotta make sure that this is strictly a package business. If we are in a position to move some of that book of business away from the carriers, they will pay attention to that. So I don't think it's far-fetched to us to think to get back into contention for profit sharing back in 2025. I don't think it's far-fetched given the track and the data that we already have.
Tony, Rosa is trying to ask a question, but she cannot. She's blocked, she says. So Rosa, you can type it on the chat.
Let me see, Rosa. I'll block you. I am blocking you right now, Rosa. Give me a minute. Rosa Cuen. Let me find you. Rosa Cuen. There you go. Okay, Rosa, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello, just saying hi. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Talk. Well, I'm good. Everything you said, I'm okay with it. I understand, and I'm very clear on what you're saying. No questions. I just wanted to talk.
Thank you for that, Rosa. And obviously, I already showed earlier, Rosa is your transportation division leader and partner. So she is the lady that you want to make sure that you communicate with her and you connect to her training sessions, because we are getting more strict as to who we are taking business for transportation. And nobody else has any other questions. I just allowed a couple of more into the room to be unmuted. But Sergio Rodriguez, I know you're on the call. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I hope everybody's being able to listen to the entire presentation in the meantime. Moving forward, we're almost there. Why are we doing this? What is our vision? What is my EV? Where are we trying to head with this? I'll straight up read it. Our vision is also includes a deepening our commitment to you and our commercial lines, transportation, insurance, and financial services and group health insurance divisions, which will be our main focus for the next 7 years. This is a big one to look into it. 7 years is not a long time. It's really not. I just shared with you that we started this business model in Q4 of 2018, and look at where we are today. We need to change the direction as a group, and this is something that once again, Hector and I thought about is, we are not here to be the carrier that is only mostly working on a personal lines book of business. That is not the game. Whether this market was happening or not, the blessing that we all have, once again, is to reinvent ourselves. And starting 2024, Leto Financial is going to be really focusing on commercial lines. With that, also the partnership with MBS, Nationwide Broker Solutions, which a lot of you are going to be able to get appointed directly with them through our group. They are also going to open up more markets for commercial lines. but not only commercial lines. We want to make sure that we start to cross-reference that book of business into group health. And you're gonna find more engagement from our behalf.
Tony?
Mike, yes.
On the trucking division, MBS is offering us a great opportunity. They're giving us access to Berkshire, CNA, Liberty Mutual, Nationwide, Progressive people, Progressive in California, by the way, trucking, Travelers. So in reality, for trucking, we have three strong ones: Berkshire, Progressive, and CNA. So I do want to thank Tony for getting that appointment with MBS. It's gonna help us a lot. Plus, the little people is gonna be there as well, the big trucking. So we're good. California needed.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Mhm.
Trying to bring you up as a panelist, Rosa, to share this information. But look, this is something that you guys gotta pay attention, and obviously, you know, from my behalf, if you want the best value that I can add to every single one of you is my time. And the fact that we have a structure to not only help you identify the book, help you understand how we can cross market, help you understand how we're going to distribute this message, and make our team available to your disposition is there.
Mhm.
And if we look into what the next 7 years are going to look like, if we build if we got to 5.8 million in 5 years, when you start to consider transportation, when you start to consider group health, commercial lines, we should get to at least $20 million in reality.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Hector. There's something you may want to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. Obviously, you know, Tony, that's a great presentation, and just to summarize everything, and our commitment to you guys. If you need help, you know, you want to transition to commercial, let me know. Send me a text. Contact me. I'm here for you. Want to do trucking? Same thing. Contact Rosa. We are here for you. If you need help with advertising and social media, and how do I do the videos? How do I market? Believe me, Tony is here for you. Just give him a call. He's been teaching me how to use social media for the last 2-3 years. I was, you know, just doing my old Facebook pages, my old Facebook advertisements, and you know, they were bringing some clients and whatever, but you know, there's other channels, TikTok, Instagram, and other channels that he's an expert on. He's doing this for Leto, and you see Leto on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok over and over and over, and then we all get bombarded by emails from him, and videos and stuff. But all that stuff works. And if you're like me, that we're not familiar how to use it, how to even start, you know, I'm old school. You know, I'm a lot older than Tony, so I'm surprised I don't have a newspaper subscription anymore. You know, but things have changed, and now we have to utilize all these tools. Well, look at us as your toolbox. We have a tool for commercial. We have a tool for transportation. We have a tool for group health. We have a tool for advertising. You want us to get together with you, analyze your book, how we can market your book of business. Use us. That's what we're here. That's what Leto is all about. It's not just about giving you, okay, here's your carrier, here's your login, go sell. The times have changed now, and Sharina is here to testify to that regard. I mean, have bigger aggregators and bigger groups have been terminated because they don't have the right product mix. Okay, so it's not about the quantity of business that we write anymore. It's about the quality. So we're here to help you with that quality, and we're here to help our partner carriers with that quality, because it's a two-way street. We gotta help them help us, and if we maintain these appointments, it's because we're taking care of our partners, our partner carriers. And the way we're going to do that is by helping you guys understand what's going on in the industry. So reach out to us. We're here to help you. And let me tell you how much Tony is willing to help you. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example real quick. Tony, go back to my picture where you're showing the website.
On the website?
On the website, please. Let me tell you how willing Tony is ready to help you. Go scroll down to my picture. I did not have a sport coat for that picture right there. If you see that Tony's sport coat that he's wearing right now, he lent me that sport coat. So that's how much he's willing to help out every one of you. So just
That's a
reach out to
lie.
us. Reach out to us, and we're here to help you. So
You can actually see that
Hector.
picture better here.
yes,
Hector,
yes.
I noticed that y'all were wearing the same jacket. And I said, well, did he buy it when he go to did they go shopping together when he went to
2 for
California?
1. 2 for 1.
I didn't
2
want to
for
say
1.
that. I just said you
Uh,
went shopping together.
We went to Los Callejones in East LA, and then we went to that 3-day suit broker, and we got ourselves 3 matching ones.
Talk about bundling.
Talk
Bundling.
about bundling. You know what?
You
No,
look nice.
the true story is Hector took off his jacket and gifted to me. So that is a
Nice.
true story. So Hector brought it from
Take
Texas.
take the shirt off your back. Uh-huh.
Hector got tired of seeing me with the same blue suit.
Thank you, guys. Good presentation.
Thank you. But honestly, I think this is something that we all need to we gotta bring it back to the basics. When I was an entrepreneur, when I was trying to figure out my way through life as to how was I gonna be able to make something happen, might I see your hand up. I would always push through life. I was pushing my way to get to do things that I wasn't supposed to do. And a lot of the times after I did what I wanted to do, but it wasn't what I was supposed to do, the results weren't coming my way. And I think a lot of us do this, and we push our way through life, and we push our way through life because we want to do our will. And I think we all need to remember that in business, just like in our personal life, it's not about our will, and it's honestly it's about God's will, what we need to do for Him. And we start when I decided to open up and accept Him, and I asked Him to help me out because I wasn't the man that I wasn't as wise as I thought I was. And then when I realized that, and I opened up to Him, this is what happened. There's 70 of us working together, $5.8 million in 5 years. But that took me to be humble and to understand that things had to be done differently. And something that I always remember and that really hit me is trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own understanding. Seek Him in all your ways, and He will guide you and He will show you what you got to do. We need to think about Him. We just got to be thankful for Him. I'm grateful that He's giving us this market, because if He were to give us this insurance market, we wouldn't be making the changes that we're making. I'm grateful that He took my dad when he had to take it. And when you see life instead of why, and you're grateful, trust me, even your business, you will see it. I want to thank all of you for connecting and giving us the time. These are important news that are coming your way, but at least I want to make sure that you rest assured that as an organization, as your CEO and as your vice president, we are running this company to ensure that we don't lose appointments and to ensure that we can add as much revenue as you can in your pockets. But you got to remember, there's only so much that we can do. The rest of it is on you. And you got to also understand that it's not your timing, it's God's timing. And as long as we're grateful, we got to take advantage of it. Some of you may or may not know, we lost a partner agent earlier this year out in Texas. He lost his battle to cancer, Jorge Serra. And this is something that Hector and I, we just had a meeting with his wife last week, and she's still continuing to receive those compensations. And this is the type of culture that we are here to build. We're not here to make money out of you. We're here to make sure that we all earn money together, and to make sure that when one of us needs it, we're going to be there to help each other out. And despite the fact that some of you in Texas, you met Jorge, and for those of you that didn't, this is who you're dealing with. You're dealing with two people that are here to help you out. And excuse my language, we're not here to fuck anybody over. We're really not. And I hope you guys see that and you can trust us. And obviously, a lot of you have continued to trust us since 2018, and I'm very grateful because we have that from you. Mayra, your hand is up. Go ahead.
It's
Hi there, good morning.
Hi,
Hey,
Cesar.
when I was reading the slide about new agents, are we in that category? Or are we already considered prior to the changes?
Prior to the changes, but the changes are also going to affect some current agents. And this is why I'm saying we're going to have to get together on a one-on-one basis for those agents that are new to the group. What we are paying attention is your engagement, connecting to training sessions. Obviously, writing new business is different. So we are going to be working with it based on, we're not just going to come and treat everybody the same. Why? Because everybody has different needs. Everybody has a different business plan need. And as long as you are willing to work with us on the program that we're presenting to you, then obviously it'll be easier for us to be able to understand how each agency is going to be able to get the better success out of what we are doing. It's not a cookie, it's not a scissors that we can just cut everybody under the same. It's not. Some of you, I'll be honest with you, will probably have to cut your access to the markets directly. Some of you we will. However, you will not lose your producer appointment with them. So while you're still getting your access to the markets, Hector and an internal team that we're putting together will be able to write and issue these policies for you until you get to $100,000 with the right mix of business that the carriers are looking for. Then we'll reopen up the markets to you. So yeah, so some of you will lose access directly, and I'm being honest. But these are changes that we got to make internally. But just know that these changes that we're making, I just presented you with a blueprint as to how we want to work with you to make sure that we can get you back up and running with these carriers. Richard.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Hi, Tony.
Thank you for the call today.
Thank you for that. Who's that? Who wants to bring up something?
That's
Karen Martin.
Richard.
Yep.
Hey, Richard. Richard on the phone. Karen Martin, if you have something you want to add as well, please, we'll come back to you. Leave your hand, the little hands up on the name. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Hector. Yeah, a lot of useful information. Thank you so much for sharing. So I understand that we may be losing access to direct partners or to direct carriers, so we have to submit everything through Record Guardian. How long do you, well, I guess this is a better question for like in real time, but on average, when we request a quote, because sometimes my clients are very, they need it now, they need it yesterday. So what can we expect when we do request a quote through Record Guardian? What can we let our clients know? 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. What will that hypothetically?
So good question, Richard. Thank you for asking it. A lot of that, I think about it the same way as transportation is going to be your ability of completing the forms that we're asking for. It's completing the application as close as we can to most of the information that we need for the risk. If we have to go back and forth, if you're not gathering the data from the beginning, obviously this will take longer, Richard.
I understand.
I'm
This
sorry,
is why
I'm
we
gonna
are
jump
hosting
in.
training sessions to make sure that you know what to ask for.
Tony, I'm gonna jump in.
Go ahead, Rosa.
By experience being a resale agency like you guys, I want you guys to take this as an example, okay? First of all, I don't think you guys should be afraid of having the 100,000 production, because in reality, with 2 clients, you guys can make in the commercial business or plus lines. 1 client with just general liability and workers' comp can take you up to 40,000. So believe me, I want you guys, everyone in this boat, no one should be losing access, because we all can do it. We can do 3 million a year. We can do 1.5 million in a year by just having 50 clients in the year. So everyone should be in this boat. I believe everyone is positive. I believe everyone loves this business and loves what they're doing is helping clients. In the other side, on the retail wise, quoting, I'll be honest with you, even quoting with the direct company back and forth with underwriter, we have to give them 3 business days. That's not counting the days that you took gathering the data and putting the accords together. So in this area, just quoting a contractor with 3 vehicles with Progressive, with the general agent, it takes 3 business days. So I can even see myself looking at a general liability could take up to 15 business days. Okay. So in this case, it's not against the wholesaler. It's why are they delaying? Oh, it's because back and forth of information. Okay, gathering the data correctly, putting the accords correctly, you will not expect an email or 2 back. It will be the quote back. But if something comes back, you're gonna learn as we go. If the first one you made a mistake, you're gonna receive 3 emails back and forth. I need this, I need that, I need this. No, you're not making just Leto working on it. You're making an underwriter, a general agent working on it. So it's yourself, 3 more companies working on it. So the first one, you can make it wrong. The second one, you can make it better. And the third one, it should be just 1 back and forth. I hope you guys will be in the 3 business day going back and forth with the quote. If it's something simple like a home, you might get the quote in 24 hours. But in reality, even to find a homeowner's quote takes 3 business days. Quoting, binding, and having that proof. So I ask you guys to love what you're doing is helping clients. People that want things in 24 hours, usually there's a reason why, because he left it to the last minute. People that knows insurance, they always should be quoting around 15 days, 30 days before. Education in here is learning. Learning not just what you guys are doing for them. They have to learn as well. Let me see who can help me. And of course, take my time before I need it. I have insurance clients that because they delayed to the last 3 days, they want insurance in 24 hours and they want a miracle. It doesn't happen like that. In this industry, on the surplus lines, you need to give them. Hector can say the opposite, but Hector, I think we need minimum 5 business days, right?
Yes, surplus lines 3 to 5.
Okay. Because if we said we get back to you in 3 business days, we might cause a roller coaster. In the surplus line, we need time. I created a quote for a diesel company, and it took me 15 days. And believe me, I'm 24/7 there. I'm like a light in the computer, and it's not on my time, it's on underwriter's time. They're loaded of application. I have to respect that area too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Good question. Mayra Becerril, do you have a question?
No, my dear.
I want to follow up on that one. Rosa is absolutely right. You know, they wait to the last minute. So like I always tell Myra, we have to mandate when these people come and say, I need a quote immediately. So if it's 3 business days, give them an extra business day, say 4 business days, but it's going to be well worth it to wait for the business. That's just my thought.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, George Alherson. If you're still on the call, if you have to leave, thank you for connecting. Questions. This is the time that we're all opening up. We're all here to come. We're all partners. You gotta hear from all of you.
Just keep your comments. It's just a meeting room, yeah.
Does anybody else have a question? Let me add something to that question, Richard. It's gonna depend, obviously, if it's like a standard Bobby, you have all the information with you that you already gathered from the client, and you give me a call or you call the office and you need it like for tomorrow, then those type of quotes, we could probably get it as soon as possible. But if it's like trucking and transportation, that's gonna take longer. If it's surplus lines, it's gonna take longer. But the key here is communication.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just give us a call, submit the information, and make sure that everything is complete so that we can move on it like as fast as we can.
Let's call it light risk and difficult risk. Light risk, you get it immediate, or you get it in 24 hours. And then complicated risk, the ones that need to touch on the writers, can take 3 to 5 business days.
No, this is really good information because it gives me a, it allows me to be, accountable to the client and set the expectation. Hey, you have trucks or whatever the risk is, a high risk, more difficult risk, to be, just upfront. It's going to say, hey, it's going to take about 3 to 4 business days to get you what you need. So, we ask for your patience. So yeah, if they need something ASAP, I'll just be honest and say, I can't do it in 1 day. It takes more time.
It's just a trust. You guys have to show the client security. You know what you're talking about. I have people that have no insurance and they're like, I want it tomorrow. I'm like, and please just give me 1 more week. You already delayed with no insurance.
And they have 50 trucks in their fleet. They want it tomorrow and they have 50 trucks in their fleet.
Oh, by the way, yes, I have a client that has more than 35 units with no insurance for over 15 days and she's still waiting on me. So at this point, like I said, the client that is valuing your work, even though they will wait for you.
Thank you for that, Rosa. Anybody else has any other questions? Go ahead.
I do have a question. So I just heard Rosa say that they have no insurance. So in the commercial, even if commercial auto or transportation, if they have no prior, it's something that it still can be considered?
It always will be considered, but there's limitations, there are higher premiums, they still kind of penalize you. And there's a reason why they have no insurance, because they might be dropped and no one wants them. So they don't have options at this point. It's not because they wanted to be with no insurance or they leave it to last minute. It was because a reason. They got dropped, non-renew, there's no market for them, it's limited. or they're too expensive, like where they can be out of business?
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat box, and this is good probably for you, Hector, or for you, Sharina, if you're still on the call.
Yeah.
Do we have
Right
any
now-
direct access to any carriers that are writing BOP for motel business?
Motel business is very tough. Typically, the standard carriers will not write something like that. That will have to be on a surplus lines basis, which is also very tough. After the pandemic, they limited the amount of motel business that they want. But there might be a couple of carriers out there that might be able to take it. So send me an email and I'll send you the information that we need so we can probably find you a market for a business like that, for a motel.
Thank you for that. Questions, anybody else? So what to expect, obviously, you will keep an eye on your little email. Please make sure that you're constantly looking at it. Have it on your cell phone. I would honestly suggest you have your calendar pop up the upcoming training sessions, because we are going to be paying close attention to these training sessions. Agents that are not connecting, obviously, these are things that we got to make sure that, especially if you already have access to the market, if you want to remain it, part of what we're looking into is, are you engaging? We're looking for engagement. We're looking for engagement. If some of you are curious and to understand more about the business planning, how can we help you from the business perspective? Send me an email. You can schedule a call that will give you more details as to what are we doing in these business planning sessions or masterminds, if you want to call them that. And we do have, like I said, we have a roadmap as to what actions to take, and then we just got to remain active and execute. If nobody else has any other questions, concerns, or comments, I do want to thank you for connecting and making the time. We will be okay. We are going to be better than okay. Things will be better for all of us. Just like we were able to make money, now it's the time for all of us to come together and pay attention to what type of business we're bringing onto the table with these carriers. But also, this is your time to be able to build a better book of business, and you have it in this position. Thank you for making the time on this day, and we'll be in touch. Don't forget to connect to the training session for tomorrow with the Hartford, with Sharina. I will expect a high attendance after this meeting.
And also keep an eye on your emails, because we're going to be sending individual emails so we can get together and go over each and everyone's book of business. So we'll let you know when is your turn.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your day.
Everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.